I wanted to talk a little bit about Yomim Tovim, but before I do that, I wanted to give a shtickle hakdama. I got a new sefer called Hadras Kodesh. Very, very hard sefer. Somebody gave it to me in Shavous. I figured, you know what, to be mechadish the sefer, I'll just say over something from it. It's from the Goin. It's basically written in code. Like if you know Kol HaTorah Kula, then you can understand it, including all the Zayas. I mean, they made a pirush on it. Missing is a pirush from Yisrael Kaiser Chaver, who would really explain it good. But Binishvi, as everybody knows, the Ikka of the whole Bria is Shem Havaya. And that those four Isaiahs represent the Bria in its entirety. So we don't really see it. There's a Yud, and then there's a Hey, and then there's a Vav, and then there's another Hey. And we know that in the Seder, there's 12 different Sirufei Havaya, right? And then there's many different Nekudas. We don't pronounce everything by the Nekudas. And we also know that there's 4 different Miluyim that we talk about. There's many others also. You have the Avsag Ma Ben, right? So what he wants to show you, the guy wants to show you that in the Gufa Adam that we know is just as a mashal, you have the Yud, which is Keneged, there's the Keser and the Chachma, right? And then in the Hey Rishayna is the Bina, that's all in the Meichin. And then you have the Vav, which is Rav Haguf, and then you have the Malchus, which is the Nekeva Shabai. Right? So you see, the whole Bria is centered around the Havaya, which is also in time, that's Pashut, is Haya Haya Yiyeh. Everybody knows that. So what the Gaon is trying to tell us is that the Gimel Regalim are also a chelek of the Shem Havaya. And it enumerates them, and it explains them, and it's totally in those Isaiahs. So the first thing he says is that Yemei HaPesach is Zayin Yomim, Yemei Sukkos is Zayin Yomim, and they're really 4 Yomim Tovim. Then the Shmini Atzeres, which is Yom Echad, and then the Shavuos, which is also Yom Echad. So also, Pesach, you have 1 day Halal Shalom. Sukkos, you have 7 days Halal Shalom. And the other 2 Yomim Tovim that are only 1 day each are also Halal Shalom. So the question is, why is that? So just to get a little bit of an understanding, the Hays represent 7 days. How does that work? Because the name of Havaya, which is B'milui Ma, which is Milui Alphen, which that is the Ikka Shem that's running Hayalma. So you take the Shem, Hey Aleph, right, which is 6, which is also Keneged above, right? And you add to it the Malchus, makes it 7, and that's a shtickle Hashlama, it's called a Hashlama. That's why we have 6 days of the week plus a Shabbos, and that's why you also have a Yom Tov, which is typically Shiva Yomim. So the Shiva Yomim is Keneged the Nekeva Shavai. And the Zachar is Keneged the Yom Echad Shavai. And so we're trying to show also why is Halal Gomor done on Sukkos and not on Pesach. So to understand that the Tchilas Habriya, coming from the Yud to the Hey, and then to the Vav, and then to the last Hey, the Yud is represented by the Sukkah. That Yom Tov of Sukkos. So even though the 7 days is Keneged the Nekeva, which would be the Bina, which is the Hey Rishayna, and you know the Yud and the Hey Rishayna are Bezivug Tadiri, they're always together. So if it's a Zivug Tadiri, that's called Hashlama, and therefore we say Halel Shalem from the Hashlama Shabbai. And if you go to Pesach, Pesach is Keneged the Zavinuk, the last 2 Isis and Shem Havaya, which is the Vav and the Hey, and they are not the Zivuk Tmidi, right? They only go with Maisa Tachtainim. Maisa Tachtainim puts them bezivuk, but they're not always. So therefore Pesach, the first night, which is the night of the Leda of Klal Yisrael, and that is coming from the Abba Ima, so that is you say Halal Shalom. But the rest of the days, when that later was finished, that Iris that came from the Abba Ima is now went away. And we get it back over the Shivas Yamim till Shavous. Shiva Yamim or Shiva Shavuos, right? Then it comes back Shavuos time. But the first day is considered a yichud of Abba Ima, therefore is Halal Shalem, and the rest of the days is considered from the Vav and the Hey. The Vav and the Hey only gives you the ability to do Chatzi Halal because it's not always Bezivuk. Sometimes, if it's Ma'aseh Tachtonim are good, then it's Bezivuk. If Ma'aseh Tachtonim are not good, then it's not Bezivuk. So therefore, we do Chatzi Halal the rest of it. Now, Shmini Atzeres is from the highest madrega. That's called Yichud, Abba Ima. So Shmini Atzeres is really pashut that it'll have Halal Shalom. Now, Shavuos is Keneged Eisvav, Keneged Zah. How do you see that? Because after we count the 7 weeks, right, that is the Vav, until you get to the Malchus. The last week is the Malchus. So, as you know, Zah is Keneged Torah Shebiksav, which is represented by the Ois Vav in Shem Havaya. So therefore, the Ois Vav in Shem Havaya, which represents Torah, which is the Yontiv of Shavuos. So therefore, that's considered on its own, is considered a Shalem. It's Keneged the Vav, and therefore we say Halal Shalem. Now, what's the shirish of this, of the 7 and the 8, as you know, is Shmini Atzeres. And Shavuos is already day 50, right? Because we only count 9. We only count 49, right? And the Nun Sharebina is L'mayla Min HaTeva. And also, the Rebbeinu Shalom created the world in 7 days. So anything that's above that is Shmini. Shmini is L'mayla Min HaTeva, right? So a few things we learn. First of all, we learn that it says in the pasuk, "V'hoya shivas yomim tachas imoi." That's where the guy is learning it from. U'miyoyim hashmini v'hala. So then, that's considered mitzvah haduchra. So, just to very short, just to go a little bit into the detail, is Shmini Atzeres is also Shmini, is also the Ma'ila Min HaTeva, and the Ma'ila Min HaTeva means that we're going up to be mekabel Iris from Atika Kadisha. Iris from Atika Kadisha is Kulei Toiv. So when we talk about Shmini Atzeres and we talk about Shavuos, so it's a pchina of Kulei Toiv, and the Vav that's in the Zah also is called the Chivra of the Zayin Tikkunik HaGalta, the Chivra of the Cyrus that's separating them from Ben Yamin and Smail. So you see that the Atika Kadisha, the Iris of it, are being shaylat at that time, which is also called the Eina Pekicha, which never closes. By us it does, because we're not getting a ha'ara from it. But in the Bria itself, the Atika Kadisha, Hine Layanim V'Layishan Shomi Yisrael, that's coming from the Atik, is Kulei Toiv. So therefore, hopefully, the result says that don't close your eyes on Shavuos. Don't go to sleep. Afilu Rega Echos. And what's the guarantee? That you live out a year. I was thinking, what's connection? Why only a year? Let it be 100 years. I was thinking that the word shana and the word shana to learn is the same word as shana. So maybe efshe ulai, that's why that you only gain the year. So therefore we should be zeicha all to stay up the whole night. And according to Arizal, you have to say the tikkun with the kavanas of the, if you don't have one, you should get one, a tikkun that has the kavanas at the end of the Chavtal Svarim, Zifrei Tanakh. And maybe we should be zeicha to live at the year, and to live until Mashiach Tzidkenu.
The same thing last year, the same thing last year, 2 years ago, the same thing.
What?
The same.
It's to say the tikkun didn't change.